Hi and welcome to MOREMIND Minis with me, Liz Oakley. I'm a yoga teacher and a holistic wellbeing coach, and I co-run the MOREMIND project with the goal of helping you to support your wellbeing holistically, especially during this time of lockdown when I think we all need to practice a little bit more self-care to stay sane during this time. So this week we're looking at the root chakra, kind of exploring the different elements around that chakra, our Muladhara, which is linked to our fears, to our insecurities, to our foundations. And when this chakra is blocked, it can affect our stability, our safety, and feeling like we have firm foundations to live our lives from, to kind of stand on firmly with our 2 feet. So I'd like to begin by just sharing with you a reading from Cooke, who is a business mindset coach who explains limiting beliefs really well. So she said, many limiting beliefs are created in our childhood, and devastatingly they become part of our identity. I am not artistic, I'm not good enough, I'm unlovable. And mistakenly we think these stories are keeping us safe, protecting us from rejection and humiliation, when the reality is that they are just stories we make up in our heads by attaching made-up meanings to events, and they can cost us dearly throughout our lives. Deep down we know we're here to shine and to play big, but the stories we tell ourselves mean we hold back through fear. We play it safe, we end up living only half a life. And this is where stress and internal conflict can come in, as we feel ourselves pull back from the very edge of our calling. Often we blame external events and other people for our fear of playing big. And when we change our stories to create a new truth about who we really are, then we can start to feel happy and fulfilled. And just to give you a little bit of information about blockages in the root chakra and why these things are aligned, why limiting beliefs are really linked to this energetic point in the body. Blockages in our Muladhara can be linked to anxiety disorders, to stress, fear, panic attacks, worrying, overthinking, depression, nightmares, feeling emotionally disconnected, feeling disconnected from your body, experiencing anger or rage. So really important, and something that we can practice, we can bring into our self-care routine. So today we'll look at eliminating some of those self-beliefs, limiting self-beliefs that a lot of us hold. And as Nina said, a lot of these limiting beliefs we hold from childhood, and they can be reaffirmed throughout our lives. Often they've been around for so long, we don't even realize that they are there, and they are limiting us from really shining and showing up and being as well as we can in both body and mind. So what you'll need for this practice is just something to write on with, a pen and paper or a notebook, and a comfortable, quiet seat where you can sit for this reflective exercise. So when you're ready, come and take a comfortable seat, and we'll start by just closing the eyes, bowing the heads, and turning the palms up. And taking a few deep breaths, just into the nose, out through the mouth, into the nose, out through the mouth. Taking another deep breath in, and a long sigh out. Bowing the head, bringing the chin towards the chest. And just taking a moment to settle into stillness, to clear the mind of any busy thoughts. Bringing your awareness to the space at the base of the spine. This is where your root chakra, your Muladhara, is located. The colour for this chakra is red. So what I invite you to do, just to bring awareness to our focus for the day, is to imagine a ball of red light glowing brightly in that space. Sitting up nice and tall through the crown of the head, imagining there is a flow of energy pouring down the spine. And as we connect to Muladhara, I invite you to just ask the question internally. How am I feeling today? How am I feeling today? Just allowing any responses, any sensations or emotions to surface. How am I feeling today? Finally, taking this last moment of stillness to set an intention for our practice. If you are feeling disconnected, perhaps making your intention to be present, to be focused. If you are feeling perhaps unstable or maybe a little fearful at the moment, perhaps making your intention to be strong. Whatever resonates for you, setting an intention. And when you're ready, let's take a deep breath into the nose. Open the mouth, let it go. Take another deep breath in. Open the mouth, let it go. Taking one more inhale into the nose. Open the mouth and sigh. And slowly, just beginning to blink the eyes open. Grabbing your pen and paper, we will begin our reflective exercise for the day. So what I would like you to do first is join me in identifying our limiting beliefs. So to do this, we're going to start by splitting your paper or your notebook into 3 sections, 3 columns. And I'd like you to write down, to reflect on 3 goals or dreams that you have. And just allow these to be the first things that come to mind. If 3 don't come readily to you, it could just be 1 or 2. And this doesn't have to be anything that is, right there in reach. It could be something huge. I'll give you an example. I've written in my columns, write a best-selling book, present a meaningful TED Talk, and open my own animal sanctuary. So these could be things that are, small and come to mind immediately. They could be huge, big things that are, feel like just dreams that you keep to yourself, perhaps. And we'll spend just a moment or 2 here as you reflect and just write down those 3 headings in your 3 columns. Just remembering with these kind of reflective practices, no one is going to see what you're writing unless you invite them to. So remember that this is a private practice. You can be authentic, you can be honest. Try to write from the heart. And if you need any more time on any of the exercises as we move through our 30-minute practice today, please feel free to pause this video and then rejoin when you're ready. There's no rush and no time limitation on here at all. So take it at your own pace. Okay, and when you have those 3 things, those 3 headings, what I would like you to do now is write as freely and as quickly as you can. Try not to overthink this. In each of those columns, just underneath those 3 goals or dreams that you have, all the reasons that you don't think these things are achievable. So all of the reasons you do not believe that you can achieve these. All of those limiting beliefs that you might hold inside you. examples here. Just inviting you to really write freely and authentically from your heart. All the reasons that you don't think, or all the reasons why these goals and dreams might feel unobtainable. And we'll spend a couple of minutes here just free writing in those 3 columns. So we'll spend about 30 more seconds here, remembering you can just pause and rejoin at any point if you need a bit more time. So now to get to the bottom of our limiting beliefs, because sometimes it can really take some drilling down to get to those beliefs, those self-limiting beliefs that we have and hold about ourselves. What I'd like you to do is just look over those 3 columns and rate those beliefs out of 10 for me. So write those reasons that you've written down about why you can't achieve those things, why you don't think those goals are obtainable, and rate them out of 10. 10 being the most limiting and 1 being the least. So 10 being the most limiting and 1 being the least. So giving all of those things you've written down, all of those reasons, a rating out of 10. You might see as you look across your 3 columns that there are similarities, or there are the same limitations, the same reasons across all 3 columns. And that might give you an insight into your most debilitating, limiting beliefs. And these can be hard things to start to work into. But by identifying what our limiting beliefs are, we can start to work through them and start to move forwards and release those kind of negative connotations, those negative beliefs that we hold about ourselves that might be holding us back from moving forwards in a healthy and more positive way. Okay, so when you're ready, what I'd like you to do is choose 1 for this exercise. I'd like you to just look over that list, just scan and read through all of those things you've identified, and look over the numbers that you've scored the highest. And I'd like you to pick your most debilitating, limiting belief and write it down. Write it into a sentence. So your most debilitating, limiting beliefs. And just to give you an example of kind of the 3 most common ones that normally come out in psychology are: if I try, I'll fail, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, I'd be happier if. So limiting beliefs. Often people think, I'd be happier if I was thinner, I'd be happier if I lived in a different country, I'd be happier if I had a partner. And those limit us in our own stability within ourselves. Spending another 30 seconds just identifying your limiting beliefs. And we'll choose one for this exercise, but you can repeat this exercise with different limiting beliefs if you've noticed a few different things coming up. So when you're ready, when you have that limiting belief identified that we're working through today, we're going to move through 3 exercises reflecting on this belief, kind of identifying where it came from, what it means to us, and how we can begin to eliminate it. So, what I'd like you to firstly look at is when. When did this limiting belief become real? When did it start? Is it something that you can identify from childhood? Is it something that maybe came around in adolescence or perhaps as an adult? And try to really think back to when this belief kind of took hold, when it began to develop. And just reflecting and writing as openly, as freely as you can, as you reflect on when this belief came into being. And we'll spend a few moments here, but just remembering you can pause and really spend as long as you can on this reflection. Okay, so when you are ready, we'll move on to our second reflection. Thinking about why this belief came into being. And when we're looking at the why, this could also be related to who was around, who might be responsible, who might have reaffirmed this limiting self-belief. So why did this belief come into being? And when reflecting on that, we might look at who is associated with it, why we believe it. So what has reaffirmed this belief? You might like to also reflect on any instances, any experiences you have that have reaffirmed this belief, any instances throughout your life that have kind of made this limiting belief feel real. It's given it life. And you might notice with these reflections that emotions start to come up, and that's okay. As long as you feel safe and comfortable reflecting on these things, then do allow yourself to go there. Move on to our final reflection of this section of our exercise, the how. When, the why, and the how. How is this belief useful? How is it helpful? Reflecting on how this limiting belief may have served you throughout the years. And often our subconscious really attaches to these limiting belief systems, these beliefs we have about ourselves, to protect us. So if your belief is, if I try, I'll fail, then perhaps actually you think it's helped you and it's protected you from failure, it's protected you from humiliation. And while we're reflecting on how, let's also look at how it's unhelpful, how it's not useful, how it might be holding you back. So really thinking about how this limiting belief has been helpful and how it is unhelpful as well. I'll spend about a minute here. You are still working on that section, just pause the video and rejoin when you're ready. Otherwise, we're going to move on to our next reflection. And in this section of our exercise, I'd like you to write a letter to your limiting belief. And I'd like you to do 3 things in this letter. And I'm going to give you about 5 minutes for this practice, but again, you can take really as long with this as feels comfortable. I'd like you to thank your limiting belief for however you feel it's protected you, however it might have served you, how it may have been useful. I'd like you to state in your letter that you forgive yourself and you forgive others who may have been involved in developing this limiting self-belief. So reflecting back on that who and that why. And then I'd like you to give yourself permission to honour this belief, to move past it and to let it go. So 3 sections of your letter: thanking your belief, forgiving yourself and others associated with the belief, and giving yourself permission to let go of this limiting belief. I'm going to spend about 5 minutes here. I'm just writing from heart, being honest. So thanking your belief for however it's helped you, protected you, forgiving yourself and others, and then giving yourself permission to say goodbye. Giving yourself permission to let go, to move forward. As a reminder, including in your letter, in your statement to this limiting belief, I'd like you to thank it for how it served you. I'd like you to forgive yourself and anyone else who you feel has reaffirmed this limiting belief. I'd like you to finally give yourself permission to let this limiting belief go. 60 more seconds, 1 minute here. No rush at all if you need longer, guys. This can be quite a deep exercise. Really, really helpful to begin to identify these limiting beliefs. Okay, so you can either just be finishing off your letter, or you can pause and rejoin me when you're ready. Let's take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Deep breath in. Take another long breath out. And take one more deep breath in. Sigh the exhale. Maybe roll the shoulders a little bit. Okay, we'll come to our final exercise. What we're going to do now is reframe this limiting belief into a positive affirmation or an intention to take away from this practice with you. So going back to those 3 kind of common limiting beliefs that a lot of us hold about ourselves. If I try, I'll fail. Now, some ways that you can reframe that is to look at it from a completely different angle. Instead of if I try, I'll fail, maybe replacing it with failure is subjective. I release my fear of failure. That could be an affirmation or an intention that you maybe repeat every day to yourself. I'm strong enough to try. If your limiting belief is I'm not good enough or I'm not worthy, perhaps your affirmation or your intention could be I am more than enough. I will stop comparing myself to others and I am worthy to receive blessings. And finally, this very common limiting belief, I'd be happier if. I'd be happier if. I'd be happier if I was thinner. I'd be happier if I had £1 million. Whatever it is for you. And you can change that into something positive, a positive affirmation. I love myself for. I am grateful for. My body is my home. So we'll spend just the last few moments just reframing that limiting belief that we have identified today into a positive affirmation, into something that can support your well-being. Have your affirmation or your intention identified, something I love to do is write that affirmation down on a piece of paper, on a post-it note, and just stick it on a mirror or somewhere that you see every day, maybe by your bed or on the fridge, just somewhere that you can see, so that can be a reminder for you. Okay, and you can repeat that to yourself every day, just to help begin to really release that limiting belief. Some other things you can do that can be really, really helpful to really help to solidify releasing this limiting belief is to create a vision board around your affirmation or your intention, so that you can see visually something that supports this new positive intention. That can be a great practice for lockdown if you have any magazines or old kind of books or anything lying around that, or newspapers, they can be great as well. You can take images that align with this intention or this affirmation. So if your intention was I will love my body, or I will take better care of myself, you could create a vision board around that, finding images that support this new idea, this new affirmation, and then put that somewhere that you can see. It can be really, really powerful to help begin to manifest these new ideas, these new things. Okay. So when you're ready, guys, let's just come back to a comfortable seat. And let's bring the hands over the heart in prayer. Bowing the head, closing the eyes. And we'll take 3 deep breaths again, just letting any stress, any tension you might feel in the body from doing this exercise just melt away as you exhale. So take a deep breath in, fill the lungs. And sigh the exhale, let go. Take another deep breath in, filling the lungs completely. And sigh as you let it go. And let's take one last deep, full breath in, filling the belly, filling the lungs, filling the whole body up with energy. And as you exhale, let everything go. And keeping the eyes closed, keeping the head bowed. I'd like to just share with you a reading from Marianne Williamson. It's called Our Deepest Fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the divine that is within us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So keeping the eyes closed, keeping the head bowed, let's just bring the awareness back to that space at the base of the spine, back to our Muladhara chakra. And I'd like you to bring into this space your intention, your affirmation. Just imagining that red ball of light glowing brightly. And I'd like you to repeat your affirmation or intention 3 times, either out loud or internally, whatever feels comfortable. And when you're ready, take a last deep breath in and a long sigh out. And slowly begin to blink the eyes open. Jai Namaste. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you enjoyed the practice. We have weekly sessions, weekly coaching practices, along with yoga videos, yoga classes, mini workshops, meditation techniques, and self-care tools that are being shared every week on More Yoga's YouTube as part of our MOREMIND project. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and let's look after ourselves and one another during this time.